Okay, Darren here. So let's come in for a closer look so you can take a look at the before and after, and then we'll go into the during the process and how I attack the engine itself. Okay, let's pan around. Here's our model subject. And the lighting is ideal this morning because we have morning light and everything is just exposed, which is one of the reasons I prefer to work in the direct sunlight, because it just exposes everything. On this engine, we notice we have what's called a felt padded liner. Now in many cars this will be completely exposed. There will be no liner. It will be all metal, and the lighter the color of your car is, the more the dirt will show. But if you look up here, there you can see lots of dirt, and there's some thick stuff, so it depends on how detailed you want to get. I mean, this is some thick grease. On most engines, it's what I call superficial dirt. There is some significant grease buildup. Like if you look down here, there's some really thick, greasy chunk, dirt, a combination of all the above. And then you have this front area up here. So like a lot of areas of detailing, to actually do the engine, couple things. I don't ever work on a completely hot engine. I do prefer a cool engine, only for the fact that my degreaser, when I spray it on the engine, is not going to dry instantly. So that's one of the benefits of doing an engine while it is cool. This engine, because it's as dirty, we have to break it down into sections. So on the dirty parts, I may have to employ the use of brushes and agitate the area. And because this degreaser is actually a very safe degreaser, it's very effective, but it's not caustic. So I've got my degreaser, I've got my handle, I've got my extension scrubber, I've got my rapid remover. It actually comes from the adhesive, the vinyl graphic industry, and I use it as an adhesive remover because it is so effective at breaking down sticky, gooey adhesive. I actually use it as a degreaser, and I'm spraying it, and you can see that I'm just spraying it in this section, and already it literally dissolves and breaks down that gunk before I even get it wet. The degreaser that I use, the Meguiar's, and most any other degreasers would not be that effective already, and it's perfectly safe for paint. So I'm going to spray it up here and really let it allow a little bit of what's called dwell time, because we want to get all this clean. And because it is just that thick, we will have to still do some agitating. Now while I'm allowing this to dwell, I'm going to shoot a little bit more. Now this engine, because it's as dirty as it is, I've got my super degreaser here. You can really wear out your hand. You have to do a lot of spraying in order to completely saturate this engine. You will find as you're working that your hand will get tired rather quickly if you're not used to spraying. I am used to spraying because I do it on a daily basis. Many you will find that your hand will get very tired. There's the other option, which is this. And it's just a regular pressurized container that is often used for pest control. And I simply put my pre-diluted degreaser in here, pump it up, and now suddenly I can cover an entire engine in a matter of minutes. And I completely saturate all the parts, all the way up to the windshield. And as I'm doing this, the other cleaner I used is having time for what's called dwell time. Spray along here. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray this whole mat. So everything's been degreased, or I should say everything's been sprayed, but because some of it is thicker than others, you really have to take it case by case and see, because I want to get as much of this broken down before I douse it with water. See, this stuff's pretty thick, so I'm spraying and I'm scrubbing at the same time. because I know that once it gets to this point and I hose it with water, it's going to come clean. So down here, same thing. This is the water reservoir container. Just be a little cautious of the electrical connectors. Actually, this is actually just the reservoir for the wiper blade windshield washer fluid. Then we've got the cross member that's actually metal for the front of the engine. You've got dirt that gets into the light assembly. Really just goes on and on when it comes to engines because there's so many parts to them. And this engine really was pretty dirty. Notice these electrical, what almost looks like bare wires here. I don't really know what they are, but I'm not concerned because if they're bare like that, it's probably a ground wire for something else. And it's just not critical. Now this car has its battery contained in the trunk. So just so you know, the electrical current that runs through your car is not the same electrical current that runs through your house. So you cannot get electrocuted from your car. At best, what you can do is what's called arcing. If you were to touch a hot wire or a live wire, you can use whatever term you want, and you were to ground it against the car, it would what would do what's called an arcing. But what happens is the metal, and it has to be metal because it's got to be conductive to electricity, is that it will heat up and literally melt because it becomes so hot. And it's not going to feel good, but you're not going to die from like electricity in your house. So that is the difference between car electrical current and your house current. This is the intake manifold. This feels like it's aluminum. After we degrease it, we could actually use a wheel cleaner, a wheel acid on this, and etch it. But for right now, we're just going to clean it. And it's only going to come so clean because it's actually stained. Because this engine was so dirty, what I've done is I've just gone around to the various points and made sure I broke down the grease well enough, case by case, section by section, so that now, because the degreaser is actually beginning to dry and the grease and dirt is starting to kind of form up again. So now that I've treated those areas and I've broken it down with a brush, now all I do is I douse the entire engine once again with degreaser so that it reactivates all the areas before I hose it off. Now, like I said, most of you probably will not have a pressure washer, and I don't even use one because the right tools and the right product, you can get the same type of results. Now, would it be a little easier with a pressure washer at this point? Yes, it would. So everything is wet, and like I said, we start up here. Let's go in for a look now. Everything has been hosed off. Now, a couple things. I think you could tell that I used more than enough water. I did not pull back on the use of the water at all. We've got our fuse box. It's completely saturated with water, but I know it's still protected because it's got a tight seal on it. All the electrical connectors, no big deal. If we look down in here, we can see that it's basically 99% clean now. If you recall, this area of the engine was very thick. This is probably the thickest part of the engine as far as grease. Totally clean. So I covered every area. If we look up here, look how clean this came, because I agitated and broke down the grease first before I rinsed it off. See, there's a couple things I want to make. At this point, we double check our engine, make sure there's no areas that we have missed. I'm going to give this a thumbs up as far as acceptability. This degreaser is not caustic, so even if it gets on the paint, if it dries, you can simply hose it off. As I'm working, I hose off the dirt off the fenders. I hose the dirt off the windshield. It is best to do this first before you proceed with the rest of your detailing work. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to blow it off with a leaf blower. Now, when it comes to leaf blowers, size does matter because it's all about velocity. So the bigger the leaf blower, the more velocity, the more volume of air that can be generated and will come out the nozzle. Okay, I'm done blowing it off, going for a visual. There was one area that I noticed had still not come clean, and that was on this washer reservoir right down in here. This little valley had accumulated so much dirt, so I had to go back over it with a toothbrush. Now you've got some areas like this, for example. If you can see this, this is a whole different animal. This yellowy stuff, that's part of the assembly process. If you really want to be detailed oriented, you could spend some extra time, but it would require the use of some heavy duty solvents in order to really break that down. For most people, that's going to be a non-issue because we really have a very clean engine here. If you notice, when I was hosing it off, I did hose off the front radiator as much as I could because it collects bugs. You have to be careful because these little blades, all these individual little blades are sensitive, and you can literally just bend them with your fingernail. And I'm simply going to now start it up, allow it to reach normal operating temperatures. So I allow that to, it'll take about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes for it to reach a normal operating temperature. That way it can completely dry out all the interior components, and we have success. I think that's it. At this point, you can choose to dress your engine or not dress it. We've allowed the engine to reach normal operating temperature. It is dry, everything's good to go. Anything past this is going to be purely superficial. So now dressing an engine is case by case. I'm not a big fan of overly shiny, certainly not overly greasy interiors or engines either. So I always use a water-based dressing, very light. I simply go over all the black parts, and it's just to enhance them and make it look better. We're done with this engine. That is still wet. It's still dripping a little bit in the corners, but I'm not concerned because it's just not an issue. I'm going to close it. We're done. We're good to go. Hopefully you learned something.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room.